Welcome back to the channel, guys. So in today's video, I want to show you guys my finally completed um, weapons DPS Blair build. I actually have two builds. I can show you both of them, but one of them isn't really completed. I kind of want to adjust it a little bit, so I'll just go give you a little sneak peek, and then I want to kind of show you what I want to do in the future. So I'm working towards that, but I gotta figure it out. It's a little bit difficult, and I'll explain in the video on why it's pretty hard. But the main thing for this video is gonna be our weapon DPS Blair build. What I use pretty much all the time now when it comes to bossing and stuff like that, because it's just too good, and I love it. So without wasting any time, let's just get straight into it. All right, so this is Blair. You know, he's a cook. Anyways, so this is our Blair build. I'm not gonna show the weapons or anything like that, but I mean, we will showcase some. We'll showcase something. Let me stop talking and talk about the real stuff. So this is the build. Um, Not everything in this build is essential to the build, and I'll explain why in just a second. But for those who don't know, in order to get the Blair weapon DPS, you need to have this Transcendent mod Backdraft. And then also, the reason why this Transcendent mod is upgraded is because each upgrade reduces the cost. And when I say cost, I mean the mod capacity. Well, I pointed at the screen like you can see. Let me put the mouse. See right here? Mod capacity. Every time you upgrade this, it reduces that number. So it doesn't take as much. As you see, this is only taking 4 spots. But this other one right here, Truly Deadly Cuisine, that's taking 15. But if I upgrade it, it'll be reduced to, I'm not sure if it'll be 4, but it might be 4. But it'll reduce that. So I'm going to tell you now, this is super expensive to upgrade. Just the last 2 upgrades itself from 8 to 10 cost me about 310,000 Kuiper. So it's expensive, but it's worth it because then you can fit more stuff into your build. Now, you need this to make the weapon DPS build. That's off rip, just saying right now. So get that if you can. Also, make sure in your build you have something in this slot and have it maxed out, because as you can see, it gives you a bonus 10 spaces. So for mods, an extra 10 mod capacity. So make sure you get that too. Now let's talk about what Backdraft does for you. If for those who don't know what Backdraft does for you. So Backdraft will change your abilities. Essentially, it changes the icon of these 4, but it only changes these 2 abilities, your second ability and your passive. Well, I guess this isn't an ability, it's a passive. Anyways, so let's talk about the second ability. What does it change? So normally, when you put down your flame pools and you use your second ability, which extinguishes the flame pools and brings back to you fire orbs, normally it gives you skill power and stuff to boost your skill damage. But with this Transcendent mod, it changes it. So as you can see, it changes it to weak point damage increased per flame zone. So you get 8% per flame zone and you get a max of 3. And then you get firearm attack increased amount 18%. Now that one is just a flat 18%. It doesn't matter if you collect 1 or if you collect 3. It's 18% regardless, but you get plus 8% weak point damage per flame zone. Okay, hey guys, so one thing that I haven't really explained or touched on that I've noticed after I already edited the video, so now I get to do extra editing, but this passive ability right here. I know it says when attacking enemies inflicted with burn, increase fire and critical hit damage and critical hit rate based on the number of flame zones created on the battlefield. I haven't really touched on that. So if you want to get that crit damage increase and that crit rate increase, let me show you real quick the difference, right? So go ahead, let's just look at how many crits I'm hitting. You know, not too many there. Now, that's crazy. But even with the flame zones put down, your crit rate increases. And as you see, the person isn't inflicted with fire, right? And you see our crit rate's going up. Alright, now they're inflicted with the burn. So with this ability, the Backdraft Transcendent mod, which changes your second ability and your passive. Your second ability doesn't well, it does matter on how many zones you're absorbing, right? So if you absorb 3, you'll get the maximum amount of weak point damage plus a base of 80% firearm attack. But then your passive is dependent on the flame zones that are left on the floor. So I'm going to show you a build in the video, but to maximize this passive for critical chance, critical damage, you want to have flame zones just laying around on the ground. They don't really need to do any damage. They just need to be there. So you need to be dropping them on the ground. So with the build, what I would say now, before I show you before I go through this build that we have on right now, I would say get some more, what's it called? We can reduce this HP, but what we want to do is try to maximize your duration. So that way the flame pools will stay on the ground. You see they're 19.9 seconds, so they're 20 seconds apiece. So you have 20 seconds of the flame zone on the ground. You also have 33 seconds of this buff. So these two are the main ones you want to focus on. And we just really, really, really want duration. Now the cooldown helps, so that way you can put down these flame zones when they do expire. So you want some cooldown too, but you really want to maximize duration for these buffs here, right? So as you see, I already have the duration on this is 20.5. This one also is 20.5. You see, you could put this one on and replace this. Here, watch. Right, so then you get a little bit more MP, which would be useful, especially because you're gonna be spamming your first ability, and then obviously we're gonna have the skill extension, which we have. So you really want to maximize your duration, and you want to put a little bit of skill cooldown in there, so that way you can get these buffs. Now your skill cooldown will also affect the pulling in thing, because like. Here, let me explain one more thing real quick. I know I'm not trying to like explain this for like everybody. Let's say we put these down. And now if you see on the right side, do you see how there's that fire symbol with a 3 and it's like glowing? Well, that means you have all 3 stacks, right? So if we absorb these, now watch, if I put one down, you see how it's only 1/3 full? Put another one down, 2/3 full. Another one down is 3/3 full. So that's your indicator on how many flame pools you have on the field. So you can look at that as you're fighting, just to do that. Or you can look at the green symbol on the left side. There's a picture of an assault rifle or whatever weapon that is, and there's a 3 in there. And now you see it went down to a 2 because one expired. So those are some indicators to show you like you can kind of manage your buffs there. But the only thing will be while you're in a fight, MP management might become a problem. So you don't have to always have these down, but let's say you're in a spot to where you can maximize your DPS on a boss. Make sure you have your consumed buff, which you press your second ability. Make sure you have that so you get your weak point damage and your raw damage, and then at least drop 1 or 2, however many you can, real quick. Now, don't take too long just dropping them, because at the end of the day we still want DPS over anything. So like just DPS them up. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that because I know I didn't explain it in the video. So there you go. So if you consume all 3 flame zones, you're 24% weak point damage and 18% firearm attack damage increase. So that's pretty good. That's already amazing. Now your passive gets changed as well. Normally, it'll be skill critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate. But with this backdraft Transcendent mod, it changes it to firearm critical hit damage at 10%. Now that doesn't change, but it's a base of 10%. And then your firearm critical hit rate gets increased. My bad. Your firearm critical hit rate gets increased per flame zone. So if you get 1, you have 5%. 2, you have 9%. And then 3, you have 14%. So we're already, let's say you get a max of 3 stacks. So you're already getting 14% critical hit rate, 10% critical hit damage. What is it? 24% weak point damage, and 18% firearm attack increase. So it's really freaking good, and it's really strong. And I'm going to show you the difference in damage when you have them. So anyways, that's what the Backdraft Transcendent mod does. So if you don't have it, I would definitely recommend farming it, especially if you have Blair. I'll go over this in just a second, but so the basics that we have, right, is we're looking for duration, right, and cooldown. So that's, you want duration, skill duration, and skill cooldown, just because skill duration will make the duration of your buff longer, and then skill cooldown will make it to where, you know, you can put your flame puddles down and make sure you keep the uptime on your buff active at all times. So we have right here an outstanding investment, which is skill duration plus 20.5% and HP heal plus 7.4%. That one's a little bonus just so that way you can pick up some health and get a little bit more healing from it off the floor. We have skill extension, which is skill duration plus 36.5%. And yeah, that's clear cut and dry. And then I also have right here Battle of Stamina. Max, or HP max, is plus 122.3%. Skill duration plus 8.8%. The max HP is because since we're, you know, health, you don't want to die fast. So that's what we have for the duration mods. Now our cooldown mods, we have time distribution. Skill cooldown is negative 14.3% with max HP of 52.4%. So we get the best of both worlds here. We get a little bit more health so that way we can stay alive. And then we also get some skill cooldown. Now this one isn't a lot of skill cooldown, but it's something. Then we got nimble fingers, which is 25.6% skill cooldown. So we're stacking on that skill cooldown, leaving us at a 39.9% skill cooldown. And our skill duration also is a 65.8%. Now for some more sustainability and survivability, we have on another HP increase mod. So our max HP is plus 218.5% with this mod, putting us at a grand total of 393.2% HP. I'm going to talk about this in just a second, but let's talk about the final defensive survivability mod. We have increased defense. This one maxed out is plus 160.4%. Now you're probably wondering, why do I have so much health mods on? You don't have to have this much health mods, right? I would say you can take off this increased HP if you would like, dropping it from 393.2 to 174, and go ahead and put on yourself some mods that, like right here, like resistance mods. You have electric resistance, cold resistance, heat resistance. You know, you can put some of those on if you would like. So it's not that you have to put these health mods on. I just do because I like them. Now, let's talk about this ultimate mod right here, because you also don't need this. You can take this off and put a resistance mod on, which would be better for sustainability or survivability, for sure. Especially like if you're fighting a fire boss, you want to put on fire resistance. That'll definitely help you out in the fight. But instead, I put this on. Now, what is this mod? This is accelerated drive shaft. Now, there's another mod that you can use, which will show both of them really quick, and then I'll tell you why I chose this one. Accelerated drive shaft. When rolling, fire rate increases by 20% for 5 seconds at a 15% chance. Now, it's not. It does come in clutch sometimes, right? Let's say I'm rolling a couple attacks from the enemy or from the interception boss, or one of his super attacks that's gonna practically it's gonna do a lot of damage to me. And instead of taking damage, I roll out of it, and I have a 15% chance to get 20% fire rate, which is gonna help me, quote unquote, make up for that rolling time, if you know what I mean. So let's say I'm busting at him, and then I see him charging up an attack, and I roll, or let's say I have to roll once, twice, 3 times, and then whatever, or I reload, then roll, whatever, and then I get the buff. Now I'm already at 20% fire rate increase, so now I'm dumping at the guy, and it's kind of making up for that time frame of me rolling and not shooting. You get what I'm saying? It's only a 15% chance, so sometimes it's stupid and doesn't work, but you know it's there. It's just there. So I want to show you this, but there is another one. This one costs more though. This one costs 13 total mod capacity slots. This one only costs 10. But there's this one, improved drive shaft. This one is accelerated drive shaft for attack speed. This one's improved drive shaft for firearm attack. Now, when rolling, firearm attack is plus 26% for 5 seconds at a 15% chance. It is nice, but if we're talking DPS wise, the accelerated drive shaft, it might be better. But let me go ahead and show you this. So let's just listen to my fire rate, and then we'll do the rolling until we get it. That's my fire rate right now. Now let's roll. Now remember, it's a 15% chance, so sometimes you get held like I'm getting held right now, and you just never get it. It's ridiculous sometimes, I can't lie to you. There we go. Now look. See the difference in that fire rate? It's freaking crazy, dude. So the fire rate goes nuts. But like I said, it's a 15% chance. I remember in a boss fight, in an interception battle, I got it twice in the whole battle. And then the next interception battle that I did, I got it 8 times. You know what I mean? So it's just the luck of the draw there. This is just added. It's just an added DPS bonus here. It's nothing like oh, it's a must-have, right? You definitely don't need this. Like I said, you can take this off and put on a resistance mod, um, or whatever. Now, the reason why we're not building any skill power is because this is a weapon DPS build. Um, you don't need hybrid builds. Isn't gonna really net you too much. Um, it's not really all that great to do a hybrid build. To do, like, let's say I put backdraft on here, but then I put a bunch of stuff to increase my skill power and all that. It's just not worth it. So especially because you need to be consuming your fire puddles to receive your buffs, it's just not worth it. So instead of building, we didn't build anything for firepower or dimension or any of that, because we're solely focused on, with this Transcendent mod, how much damage our assault rifles can do. So typically I only use this build if I am doing interception battles, or sometimes I'll run it in a dungeon, just for the final boss. Now, yeah, so that's really the build. It's nothing too crazy. You just want some cooldown, and you definitely want some skill duration, just so your buff lasts longer. And then the rest, just survivability, health, survivability, and stuff like that, so that way you don't die. Because look, let me tell you this: the best DPS is as long as you're doing damage. If you're on the ground knocked out, you can't do damage. You know what I mean? Waiting for somebody to res you, your DPS is gonna drop significantly because you aren't shooting. So make sure you get some survivability in your build. Now, I want to show you. I just want to show you the damage increase. See how I got that on the first roll? It'd be annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, so I want to show you the damage increase here, right? So we're just gonna look at the base damage. So we got 403,000, right? 77,000 with no crit, 403,000 on a crit. Now we're gonna do one flame puddle. Remember, 403,000 crit, 464,000 crit with one. That's a pretty big jump, if I do say so myself. Now let's grab two. 490,000 crits. See that? That 490,000 crits. Let's actually take this off. So that way we only see that one number. Now let's see what we're getting with all three stacks. 516,000 crits with all three stacks on Blair. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is that? About pushing 100,000 damage increase per hit. Per hit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of that's kind of nuts if you ask me. Now, that was what, 516, like we said. Yeah, 516. Let's let me show you one more time the base weapon with no buffs. You see my buffs are gone. So we went from 516 to 403. Yeah, so we got a little over 100,000 damage increase just for using all three as fireballs. Now, what I like to do sometimes, just instead of putting down all three of these real quick, since it takes quite some time, sometimes I just yeet this fireball just in some random spot, get myself into where I need to be, maybe roll, get that, and then, you know what I mean? Just go crazy with it. I be hating how they be shaking so much when you shoot them, but whatever. So yeah, there you go. Really, to be honest, that's it. It's fairly clear cut and dry. I mean, we can look at the DPS increase on other things. Like, let's look at, all right, so let's see this one. This one, 160,000 base damage. So let's look at the increase on that. Not just the assault rifle, since I know that one's max built out. This one's not at all. As you can see, we only got three. Two firearm attacks and a weak point damage mod. So let's go ahead and see what our damage is hitting for. That was a... Let's see what a crit is, if we can ever hit one. We're not going to hit a crit. All right. So 432,000. Oh, there we go. There we get a crit. 649,000. So 432,000, right? All right, bam. 432,000. We're just going to go straight to all three stacks here. $513,000. Almost 800,000 crits. So his damage increase is kind of nuts. Like, you know, we gotta be honest here. And then, you know, obviously his crits are gonna get hit even higher because he has the plus 10% critical hit damage on top of his 24% weak point damage, 18% firearm attack, and a 14% critical hit chance. But you know, it's critical hit chance based off of this weapon's already base crit chance, which should be 20%. So yeah, 20%. So I mean, all in all, that's nice. This got too many stuff on it. Okay, we're not looking at that. Got too much stuff going on here. Yeah, I got, for some reason I have fire on here, and this has toxic on it. I don't know what's going on, dude. Look, I don't know. We're doing, yeah, fire, toxic, and base damage. I mean, sure. Whatever. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, you could probably get some. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But anyways, so yeah, that's the weapon DPS Blair. Super clear cut and dry, simple. It's just a pretty massive DPS increase. It's really geared more towards getting yourself your solid weak point damage, especially because the 8 times 3 for the weak point damage. Um, but you still get the good crits and stuff like that. So have if you have good accuracy and stuff like that, Blair's where it's at. If you can hit weak points all the time, Blair's where it's at. You're gonna get some solid damage there. Now, real quick, now he isn't fully formed out or catalyzed or whatever you want to call it, just because I do use other builds, right? Like I'm using a skill build as well on him, and I can't. If I completely optimize the DPS, weapon DPS, then what's gonna happen is these things might mess up it, make it hard for me to make a skill build, right? Like let's say I want to use my fire and stuff like that, and you want to use crowd control, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, okay. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because I changed the slots around and stuff like that, right? So yeah, but I want to real quick, just quickly run down and show you this makes the skill build that I'm working on right now. I kind of want to make a build completely centered around this flamethrower here, but right now I just want to show you what we got going on here. So we have skill critical hit rate at 37.3%, and Blair has a pretty solid base critical hit rate for his skills. I think it's like 20% as well, so you could get it up there. Um, and as you can see, his passive gives you, for each flame zone, gives you up to 14% on top of that, so you can get some pretty good crit stuff out of him. But we got 37.3% critical hit rate, 16.1% critical hit damage, dimension skill power modifier 76.1, skill cooldown is minus 62.1%, max MP is minus 11%, so we're losing out on our maximum MP. Fire skill power is 81.2%, max HP 87.2% because we don't want to die. Skill duration is 57%, and skill effective range is 92.3%. Now, this build is good. There's a Transcendent mod that I'm working on getting, but no, yeah, this definitely works pretty freaking well. You can get some decent coverage out of this, and you can get some decent coverage out of these, and they do some pretty decent damage here too. Now we'll consume these and get our little thing. And as you can see, I'm working on getting the damage like pretty freaking crazy high with this. And look at the cooldown. I'm already about to be able to use my flamethrower again. So like I said, I'm working on making a flamethrower build with this guy because I want to see if how much I can get out of him. But then there's also other versions of this mod where I can use truly deadly cuisine, which it's nice. But yeah, so that's pretty much that build. It's still a work in progress, so I'm not really gonna showcase this one too crazy, just because I'm working on it. I want to try to make a really, really, really strong build with this. Do I even have space to put that on there? I don't. All right, let's take that off and put this on. With this, truly deadly cuisine. I'm gonna just show you this really quick, what the difference that it does, right? So truly deadly cuisine changes your fourth ability, your fireball, right? So instead of exploding and then dropping 3 little fireballs that explode and leave a puddle, it's just a fireball. 1 instance of damage. Now, but look at the difference. The damage multiplier, the skill power modifier, goes from, what was it, 400 for the initial explosion and then 600 for the little fireballs. It goes to 6,934. So it pushes out some pretty freaking high damage. So I want to work on making that kind of build. So you see we did 2 million damage there. I want to see about how I can get this to do even more damage. Let's go ahead and consume some of these real quick. And then I want to light you on fire. Yeah, 2.5 mil. Yeah, so I'm trying to work on it because I want to get this one to be able to hit some pretty good crits here and like really, slap with the damage. So 3.8 million damage, but I wanna really build that up. This build right here is just slapped around it. I need to put the crit and all that crit damage, all that. And as you can see, we got a 44-second cooldown on this ability, so you can every 45 seconds you can use it. Get out a nice little couple million damage. But I want to, like I said, get this even higher and work on that. So that's that build. But like the main purpose of this video was to showcase the backdraft build, the weapon damage build. In my personal opinion, this is one of the best DPS builds in the game, hands down. You could just do so much damage with this. And don't get me wrong, I have Ultimate Glade, and I have her formed up, I have her leveled up and all that. I just the damage increase that I'm seeing, or like how long it takes for me to kill bosses, I can definitely notice a difference when I'm using him versus Ultimate Glade. And I do bosses, I don't do solo bosses. I mean, I do. If I'm farming solo, I go and do solo bosses because there's too easy solo. I'm not gonna lie. They're so easy solo. Sometimes just killing them solo is just a better option. But most of the time I play with my friend, so the boss does get a increase in health and stuff like that, and the abilities and all that. So it's a little bit. It takes a little bit longer to fight it with my friend, but that's where I do my DPS benchmarks. Is how fast I can kill bosses in a group setting, right? Because if I can kill the boss super fast on solo, that doesn't one-to-one translate into a group setting, right? So let's say you go and fight, one of the interception bosses where you need teammates. Just because you kill the third hard boss super fast doesn't mean you're gonna go kill that boss super fast. Because the difference in like their health is absolutely insane. So solo bossing is super easy. So I definitely would recommend if you want to farm for stuff, um, and you don't play with anybody else, to do it solo instead of with randoms. Just do it solo. Make sure you have a solid build, and you can kill the boss pretty freaking fast. Um, but if you do have friends, it's gonna be a little bit harder. So just know that. But that's where my DPS benchmarks come from, is that, and this particular build with Blair is nutty. I just it's so good. It's just way too good. So 100% I recommend you guys use this build. If you don't like, I mean, if you enjoy using, Infinite Rockets Glay, do your thing. If you enjoy using some of the other characters, do your thing, right? But if you have Blair, and you don't have any of the other people, go farm for this Transcendent mod. I'm gonna show you what it is one more time just so you can see. Go farm this Backdraft Transcendent mod. Go get this, and make this weapon DPS build. So you can do like how I have. I have two classes. One is for if I want to use his core mechanics, his core abilities, and then this other one is when I want to go fight interception bosses. And so go farm this, get the Backdraft, and just shred everything you run across. So that's my quick and simple updated build guide for the Backdraft, the weapon DPS Blair. Hey, if you guys enjoyed the video, hey, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video. Definitely appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And hey, leave me a comment. Hey, let me know what other character you want me to work on, right? I'm gonna show you my list of characters right now, and I'll get any other character you guys request. Doesn't matter, I'll get anybody. But who else do you want me to work on? What other builds do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see anyone in particular? Let me know. Comment down below. Do you want to see a particular weapon, a skill? You know what I'm saying? Just, hey, let me know anything, and I'll make a video for y'all. Hey, thank you guys again for watching. Y'all are awesome. And until next time.